negative equity. It can be flat, where it's the same value from the day you bought it to the new time that we assess it, or it can be positive, and you bought it at 100 and it's now worth 150. Do you all understand now what equity is? Equity is the difference between what you owe and what it's worth. It can be positive, neutral, but it also can be negative. And that's what you're witnessing out here in this housing crisis. Many people got negative equity. They paid too much for the house, got bad financing, and now they've lost their job or had a cutback on their job, still working but not making as much money as they used to, and the house is not worth what it used to be worth. Florida, California, Nevada, and Phoenix, Arizona, this is the worst states in America in terms of having negative equity. But now here's what y'all need to hear from a God standpoint. God has made it so houses now have dropped in value, so you could afford a house much better today than you could 4 years ago. That's the good news to you. What is a balloon mortgage? Now, I told you they market this to poor people. What a balloon mortgage does, you got a good idea?
No. Property.
Oh, I skipped one. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, number 6. What is a property survey? Oh, everybody ought to know that one. Come on. The inspection of the property, but how do you know it was surveyed? Now, you say inspection, you mean like they came inside and looked in the attic and all that? No, that's an inspection.
The dimensions of the property on the line versus the city sidewalk.
You are determining where your lot line is.
Yeah.
To the east, to the west, to the south, to the north. This is where this property involves. A lot of times you need to make sure that you have the legal description on that property, because it says lots number 2 and 4 on such and such a subdivision, such and such and such. That's what's important about a survey. If I buy a house from Brittany, and Brittany, before I bought the house from her, she put a fence on it in the backyard, but she went into the neighbor's land with that fence, and now the neighbor has told Brittany, you are 10 feet too far into my property. But Brittany doesn't tell me that when we buying the house, right? She doesn't bring up nothing negative, right? I buy the house, I think that big backyard is mine, only to find out the neighbor forces that fence to be removed off of his land or her land, and the real backyard is discovered. I would only discover that with a property survey. So if they tell you, you don't need it, it'll cost you too much more money for this real estate transaction, why bother to pay money for something you don't need? Then you should already have your ears all perked up. Now look at here, somebody's trying to make a monkey out of me, because Mr. Brayboy told me in the class we need a survey because we need to know what's the dimensions of this property. Why would you want to go by his hearsay? Hearsay don't count in court. Y'all know that, right? He told me, like they said, the man told me. The man told you won't get your squat in court. You're going to have to move that fence. What is a balloon mortgage? Anybody? Any existing students want to show off what you know? Go ahead, I'll let you go first.
The full amount due at the date.
Right. I don't know if y'all ever heard it, but here's what they do. They say, look, Gloria, you know your credit kind of weak, but we're going to make this loan to you anyway. But here's what we're going to do. Behind that butt, here comes some real funny stuff coming at you right now. We're going to close the loan in October 2010. And by 5 years from now, you'll be back on your feet, getting more money. We're going to call that loan due October 2015. Although we're going to give you a 30-year payment schedule, but in 5 years, we want all our money back. It's going to make you go refinance and pay off that lender. That's what they call hard money lenders. That's what they put into their deals. They put that kind of clause in there. I can't be in this loan for 30 years, so I'll make you the loan, but behind that but is coming some stuff that's going to hurt you. Okay. Your credit report. Any numbers they put down there? Check it. Good. If they don't know their credit report, wrong. Number 9. What is a point? Brittany, tell the class. What's a point? You studied this. You've been in the class twice now. Certainly doesn't matter. That you certainly got it down by now, right?
A point is a one-time charge to buy down a loan.
Well, how much is it equal to? Okay, you need help? It's not 1,000. It's equal to 1% of the loan. So a point equals 1% of the loan amount. Remember that. So we just hypothetically said 100,000. So a point would equal 1,000. But if you said $50,000 house loan, a point would equal 500. Okay, it's 1% of the total deal that you're borrowing. So if you're borrowing $200,000, 1 point equals $2,000. Now, I'm going to tell you something. A lender, a guy told me, hey, Mr. Brayboy, if you want to borrow some money for your real estate, go over here to XYZ lenders. They make loans. I went to that guy and he says, yes, I'll make you a loan. He says, I'll let you borrow a $100,000 line of credit. You borrow the line of credit, now you can go ahead and buy any houses you want. However, we're charging you 10 points. I was thinking, I'm going to borrow 100, but I'm only going to walk away with 90. And I'm going to have $10,000 worth of fees, but I owe him $100,000 at the interest rate he's charging as if I got the whole 100. Those are loans that I call, since we're on the air, I can't quite say, that's those in loans. That's those black only loans. That's those for poor folks only. This is for desperate people only. I'm going to give him $10,000 to loan me $100,000 and then pay him $10,000 to loan me $100. I only get 90, but the day I walk out of the building, I owe him 100 plus the interest. Whoo! And we've been doing that for years as a people. And we like, and then they say, well, you know, you've been bad with your credit. Well, shoot, no wonder I was bad with my credit. Look what you gave me. Look what you gave me. Who could make it? Who can survive this kind of a lending? So they call that predatory lending. And predatory lending is something my mom signed up for. As much as I know about the real estate business, before my mom passed away, she was 73 years of age, and she got a refinance on her mortgage. And they gave her a loan that she couldn't afford. And they charged a whole bunch of fees. I don't know if you ever heard this company, but anyway, because we're on the air, I can't say. But anyhow, Associate Finance used to be a little company out here to make people $1,000, $100 loan, whatever. Yeah. But then they got bought out by a company named Conseco Finance. And so Conseco come knock on her door, Miss Jones, don't you want some money for Christmas? And we could take over that first mortgage you got and make you a little Christmas money. My mama still thinking like a spender. I was raised in a house of a spender. So she's still thinking like a spender at 73. She signs the paperwork. She went from a $432 a month healthy payment that she could afford to a $750 a month payment that she couldn't afford. She signed for the loan in like December, and in March she was already behind. We done lived there for, you know, I was raised there, so she didn't have that house since the 40s, late 40s, and here it is now, the late 90s, or 2003 and 4, and she's finna lose the house. And here's what Conseco would do. I just want to be on record with them as a predatory lender that they are. One person would call her in the morning and say, Miss Jones, let's pray. And at 5 o'clock, they'd have a mean junkyard dog calling her. Miss Jones, you better give us that money or we're going to put you out of that house. So she got the yin and the yang. She's totally confused, and then she hiding it from me. I'm her only son. There ain't no other children. And then I said, Mom, what's wrong? Nothing. And then I said, you know, something must be wrong. You not acting right. You know, that stuff will mess with you. So anyway, I found out what happened, and I was able to get a lawyer friend of mine, and we took Conseco to court for taking advantage of her at 73, signing her with all kind of terms that she didn't understand. I said, Mama, now when you get to court, tell the judge you didn't understand a lot of that stuff that happened. We get to court, and in that culture, my mom died a few years ago. She was 82 or something when she passed away, but in 2005. But in her culture, you don't tell the white man you don't know nothing. Oh, so she walked up to the judge. Judge said, Miss Jones, did you understand what you did? Yes, Judge. No, Lord, that's not the answer we caught you on. You were going to tell the man, no, I didn't understand what I did. But he allowed the attorney to override what she said so that she could get the favor. And we were able to back Conseco up from the foreclosure. and get a new loan. But what they did, they took all them back fees and added it to the back of the mortgage. So I'm supporting the house now. I kept the house. She's passed on, but I got the house with debt. Shouldn't have happened. Not for that level of debt, but they charge every fee in the world and just added it to the mortgage. So, personal thing. I know it's happening in your families too. Somebody became a victim of that kind of lending. What is escrow? When the taxes and insurance are held by a mortgage company, it's held in an escrow account. An escrow is a third party who, you call them a disinterested third party. They have no interest in the property, they don't work for the lender, and they don't work for you as the buyer, but they will hold the money and they will disperse the money for what you put it in there to get paid. So if you want the insurance paid, you pay the escrow account and they pay the insurance or the taxes. Okay? When you are buying a property, you never write the check and pay the seller. Say Valerie is going to be the seller and I'm the buyer. I don't give Valerie a check as a down payment on that contract because she's the seller. Valerie might not want to give me that money back, especially after I look through the house and it doesn't pass my inspection and I want to walk away. She doesn't want to give me the money back. So Brittany now serves as the escrow agent. I give Brittany the money. Valerie signs the contract to sell it to me. I sign the contract to buy, subject to the conditions, and Brittany holds the money. And if she and I work a deal out, she passes the money to her. But if we don't work a deal out, I can get my money back from her. I have one of my participants, just like I'm teaching y'all this on this pretest, I taught her this. And you know what happened when she went out here in real life playing the game. You know what she did in real life? She gave the seller, realtor, the money. The money was $1,000. She said, Miss Brayboy, I need you to go see that house. I got it all tied up. I gave the seller my good faith, $1,000. I went by and looked at it. I said, girl, that house is a mess. I wouldn't buy that house. It's still got jalousie windows.
Oh, man.
Now, if it's got jalousie windows, that tells you a lot about a house. That means when it's cold all in their house.
Yes, sir.
So I said, no, I don't think that house is a good deal. Even if the price is low, don't get it. That was 4 months ago. She's been 4 months. I don't think she got her $1,000 back yet. And she's now trying to go to attorneys. Attorneys are saying, really, you didn't put any stipulations with the money. They can keep it. And by the way, don't think you as a renter are exempt from this. Because I rent properties here in St. Pete, a young lady can't rent my house because she can't give me a deposit because the guy who she tried to rent from before with Section 8 took her deposit. Section 8 failed the house. Y'all know Section 8 process. Section 8 failed the house and didn't meet the inspection requirements. The guy told her, well, you can get your money back when I get the next tenant. In the meantime, he's holding her $800, and legally she can't get